Welcome back to the Texas High School Coaches Association Convention in San Antonio. I'm Mark Kusenberg. I'm joined by Mike Harrison from Holy Cross High School. Well, Coach, another great season, a berth in the state semifinals. I guess it says something about how odd 2020 was when you had a 6-3 state semifinalist team. It just seems like the numbers don't add up, but you got a season. That's a triumph by itself. And then you end up one game short of the state championship game. That's a lot to accomplish at Holy Cross.
We had a phone call interview back in July of last year, and they said, "Are you going to have a season?" I said, "Absolutely. We're going to play. This is going to happen. Absolutely, 100%." And all of a sudden, the COVID numbers started climbing, and it changed from me being very confident to me being very prayerful that I didn't know if it was going to happen or not. And to have a chance to play a season last year, given the circumstances, I think it was necessary for the healing of our state, of our country. I mean, sports is such an important part of the fabric of our society, and Holy Cross athletics is very much part of who we are. And to have that opportunity last year was, yeah, Mark, it was not a normal year, but it was a great opportunity for our kids to get out and experience what it was like. Hated wearing masks, though.
Well, that aside, tell us about what you saw with your team, your players, as they overcame all of these challenges that their predecessors didn't have to deal with and put together a very fine season that ranks among the best that Holy Cross has had in the last 30 years.
Well, Mark, I can tell you, I'm going to make this real simple for you because this is something that happened early. We can't use our locker room. They come to us and said, "You can't let the kids in the locker room. There's not enough space. We can't control it. The environment's going to be too easy to spread, so you're going to have to figure something out." So we started calling around, asking, and we took a whole bunch of different ideas, and we created the outdoor locker room.
Oh, wow.
Every child on our program bought a folding chair, took it to practice. They came dressed. They would take their folding chair, set it down, spread out. They brought their own water, their own coolers, and they did that from day one of football practice to the last day of football practice. And without fail, they understood the severity of that situation, and they committed themselves to doing that to protect themselves, their families, the school. And I thought that spoke more to me than effort on the field and than anything else. That was what really stood out to me, Mark. It was the way those kids committed to try to take care of themselves. I was really, really proud of their efforts.
Those of us who have children or love children really want to protect because we appreciate how precious youth is, how quick it ends, and then real life and grown-up stuff interferes. And I think sometimes we miss out on how resilient young people are and how they'll rise to challenges, partly because they love what they're doing and they love life, and partly because they don't really know any better than deserving something different. It looks like you got to see that up close. I'm guessing all school year.
Oh, yeah, it was part of it the entire school year. But what was just so incredible was to watch young people. I mean, they would look at each other and they would say, "Hey, listen, man, follow these rules, do this," and they would remind each other every day, don't go out, take care of yourself, wear your mask, wash your hands. I mean, it was incredible just to see kids take ownership, I guess is a good way to put it, of the health and safety protocols that we established. But also, you're exactly right. We don't think about, when we're young, I always tell people, when you're young, you think you're bulletproof. And these kids understood, no, this is something that if we want to have a season, if we want to have a year, we're going to have to do this. I was very proud of them, and yes, they learned a lot of very tough lessons.
Well, Coach, you've had great success in athletics, particularly in football. And at the same time, we know that enrollment numbers have suffered for Holy Cross, and there were challenges to begin with. And then you throw in a pandemic. I imagine that the school year at Holy Cross must have been, as challenging as it was throughout the state. I would imagine for Holy Cross, it was even more so, which is all the more the tribute to the great school year that you guys had.
Well, thank you. I think that's a truism last year for most schools, but what really got me, or what stood out to me, was as a school district or as a school, we had to establish our protocols. But what was so good for us, Mark, was the fact that we still were that family, that idea of sticking together and fighting through challenges together. Our kids, our community as a whole did great. But, thank you, man. We've been very successful. We've been blessed. Got great kids, great coaches, people who work very hard, community that supports us. And if you know anything about football, those are the things that have to happen in the state of Texas to be successful.
Holy Cross is a family. We see that at so many of the private schools in the figurative sense, certainly, but often in the literal sense.
Yes.
Hassan Ali has a younger brother who's coming through the program. The Cedillo family in particular is very much a part of the Holy Cross community and remains so. Tell us, and that's just what I know about from what I've seen. Tell us about the community that Holy Cross has become. It's not necessarily a few blocks of a neighborhood. There's something different going on, and arguably something deeper.
Oh, it stretches across the city, obviously, and I can tell you now I've been on vacations in places like Las Vegas, which I like to go to. But I've been on vacation there and have people yell out, "Hey, Coach," and you look around and it's an alumni from 20 years ago. Who comes up and speaks to us, or it will be at the grocery store and they'll come over and, "Hey, Coach, how's the season going to be?" And it's somebody whose grandson graduated 10 years ago. I mean, it's really, really powerful to be a part of that. Absolutely, the Ali family has been incredible. Hassan played for me, and now Amir is going to be a senior this year. He's a all-state kid. He is, right now, he's got an offer from Army, I believe an offer from Dartmouth. Kid's very talented, but
obviously doing something well in the classroom too. If those schools are interested,
no, Amir's a good kid. I teach him. I have him for AP history. He's a very smart young man. But the Cedillo family, very, very significant, and they're dealing with some very tough times right now. Some issues that we're all got prayers up for them. But yes, Marcos Jimenez Cedillo, one of our better football players, one of our best athletes, but probably absolutely a quintessential Holy Cross type young man. He comes from the background in the family. So, yes, it's going to be a family affair, if you will.
Coach, when you talk about folks flagging you down in Vegas and anywhere, it speaks to the reward of coaching and teaching that, yeah, the winning stuff is fun. The games are fun, but there's nothing like seeing someone from 15 years ago telling you their life story and telling you why you can be proud of them and they want you to be proud of them.
And they still come back and they still want to be a part of your life and they still value the input you gave them. That's what's really, really cool. But I was reading a quote from Dabo Swinney the other day, and he was talking about you can win all you want. But if you don't make this young man a better husband, a better father, a better son, then you lose. I think ultimately winning will take care of itself. If you teach the little things, the character, the discipline, the integrity, the parts of the education process that really is what athletics should be, if you do those things, then you're going to be successful on the field and you're going to enable those young people to be successful in life.
You mentioned teaching history, and that brings up a great point for the smaller schools. It's challenging enough to put together athletics if you're an athletic coordinator at a larger school or athletic director at a larger district, and that's all you're doing. But you're doing that and you're teaching history, so all the challenges the teachers have getting a classroom going with Zoom and all the challenges there, and athletics, you're wearing all those hats.
Small school, you do a lot. I'm the athletic director. I'm the head football coach. I also coach powerlifting, and I teach advanced placement history. But I love history. I love teaching it. I think it's invaluable as to the lessons that it can impart to young people today. I think that everything ties hand in hand. I'm a big believer that athletics is part of the entire educational process. And, man, I got to be honest with you, Mark, at our place it's really kind of been the blessing that I've got to experience is to be a part of all of that.
It's fun to watch Holy Cross play football. It even goes back to the Cedillo and much of the Arnold Martinez area that you guys – maybe the formations vary a little bit, but you guys are about old-fashioned, smash-mouth, run the football. This is a brutal sport, and we're going to embrace that. And and the success you've had, it may be seen as a throwback in a lot of quarters, but it's successful. It works, and and you've been able to enjoy that and see that thrive.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Mark, I think part of the thing is if you run the ball and control the clock and control the pace of play and the tempo of the game, it plays to you. When you have kids playing both ways, it shortens the game, which means they're not having to play as many snaps, which allows them to have an opportunity to be a little fresher at the end. But part of the mantra of Holy Cross is that, you know, we're going to be physical. And had a coach tell me one time, you know, you guys play to the echo of the whistle. And I said, absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to play to the echo of the whistle.
Well, something I think that has been diminished in the modern game is that, yeah, it works to be smart, especially once the NFL figured out, you know, we have collegiate guys here, and they're smart enough to learn complicated things, so you see these multiple offenses and different things like that. But the trick to that is that if you win that way with dink and dunk and you don't know, the defense doesn't know where something's coming, they come away from the game and say, well, yeah, we lost, but if we get a little smarter, if we figure out a pattern, we're going to beat that. You know, it's entirely different if Ryan Tannehill can go up to the offensive line and say, Derrick Henry over left guard, and there's not a blessed thing you can do about it.
Right, and there's nothing you're going to – having the ability to be physical is important defensively, important offensively. But I know I played offensive line, and that's what I want. I want to be able to tee off and go after somebody. I don't want to have to sit there and catch everybody. I want to be aggressive, and I think that plays to the style of football we play. But, yeah, man, thank you. I think that's a compliment for us. Thank you.
Well, even with a young offensive lineman, you see that you can talk to a 17-year-old offensive lineman about blocking for the run, and their face lights up. That does translate to the younger generation, just plowing straight ahead and muscling somebody. I think Ross Grimm said that there's no better feeling than taking a man from point A to point B against his will.
I think that's a great analogy. One of the things, Mark, that I think is so significant for us is we try to simplify it for our kids. If you can down block, you've got the better angle. Get the best angle possible that you can get in that play. Drive your feet, keep moving. You know, a lot of times if you can just gain position and keep moving, you may not drive him to the other side of the planet, but you can create enough of a seam that the back can get through it. And I think that plays for us. It plays to who we are. Holy Cross may change it up a little bit this year, but, man, you know, we like to be physical.
Anything else we can look forward to the Knights this year aside from 10 regular season games, which I'm sure would be great all by itself?
We are going to have 10 regular season games. We are going to be the biggest traveling circus in the world. We are going to Bryan. We're going to Temple. We're going to play a game at Mary Hardin Baylor. Got a game at Shiner, game in Austin. We're traveling all over the place next year. However,
just having that as an option is wonderful.
Absolutely. And the other thing is Holy Cross is going to be playing games at Holy Cross next year.
Wow.
So it is a big moment for us. We're going to put games back on campus, so we're excited.
Well, I'm excited for that. That's a great thing at Holy Cross, and I'm delighted to see that, and hopefully we'll be able to drop by for one of those.
Hope so, Mark. Hope so, man. Good to see you, brother.
That's head coach Mike Harrison of the Holy Cross Knights. We'll be back with more from the Texas High School Coaches Association Convention after this. This is Mark Kusenberger for Texas Sports Production.